Welcome to episode 6 of our Microsoft 365 AI webinars. This session is for anyone who's curious about using AI to simplify your tasks and make you more productive. My name is Ellen, and I'm joined today by Lisa Svensson, who will guide you through some exciting ways to use Copilot in PowerPoint, both for your work and home use. Now, let's jump right into the star of the show today, PowerPoint. Lisa, welcome. And can you start us off with an overview of how to access Copilot here? A reminder for everyone that Copilot in PowerPoint is available with a Microsoft 365 personal, family, or premium subscription. Work or school subscriptions will depend on what has been enabled for your organization.
Yes. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for having me. There's several ways to use Copilot in PowerPoint. For today, I'm going to focus on the web experience at your browser at powerpoint.cloud.microsoft, which we'll share that URL in the chat with you all. But you can also use Copilot in the PowerPoint desktop app on your PC or the PowerPoint mobile app. And as Ellen mentioned, you will need a Microsoft 365 subscription to access these AI features that I'm going to show you today. And just note, some of these features may vary between desktop, web, and mobile. So jumping in, I'm going to go over 2 demos today, first starting with planning a trip. And then I'll do another one of a common work example of prepping for a meeting in the next demo. So let's start by coming to my Edge web browser, and I'm going to enter in PowerPoint.cloud.microsoft. I'll load it here. And you can see, since I'm already signed into my web browser, it automatically welcomes me, brings you to the home page here. You can see some beautiful templates are there if you want to get started there. If you scroll down, you can also see any recent presentations you've worked on or anything shared with you. So this is really kind of where you come to get started on the web. But since I'm in travel planning mode, it's the new year. This is the time I like to start to think ahead of trips I want to take with my friends. And I want to host a PowerPoint party to pitch some of these destinations to them. So I'm going to click Create Blank Presentation here. And it's going to open this up. And you can see, up top here is what we call the sparkle icon. And there's a few different actions you can take on this drop-down menu. You can start by just creating a new presentation, create with a file, add a slide, add a topic, or if you just want to ask Copilot some questions. And so that's where I'm at right now, and still that research mode of, where do I even want to go? So I'm going to click Ask Copilot. And there's a few other ways. If you want to pull up the Copilot chat pane, you can come up here in the search bar, and click Copilot to pull up the chat, or in the ribbon, you can access the Copilot chat there by clicking the icon there.
So is there any difference in the different ways that you are engaging on a Copilot chat? You just showed 3 of them, right? You showed the sparkle at the upper left corner of the document there. There was a search bar at the top, and then there's a Copilot panel on the right. So how do I think about the difference between those 3?
Yeah, good question, Ellen. Really, those are just 3 entry points to take you into the chat experience. Under the sparkle, I'd say those are more actions to take with the current presentation you have opened. But I really like to use the chat functionality, whether you're going here to click there or the search bar or clicking here, it all will pull up that same chat experience to have more of that back and forth conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can see here, I am in my work right now, work account. So you see, a few different tabs up top, but same functionality for, a personal account. But so I'm going to drop in a prompt and say something like, give me a list of the top 5 budget-friendly cities in the US to visit for a girls' trip. Hit enter. And so Copilot Chat, it is web grounded. So right now it's pulling from various websites. It's kind of trying to hone in what should be those top destinations. So it's doing that research for me. So it's kind of working in the background, and you can see here, it's given me, let's see, a list of 5. I see Nashville, Savannah, Austin, San Diego, Denver. These are fun. This feels like a good group of places to visit. But I think my friends are gonna want warm. They want sun this time of year. And so I'm gonna say update the 5 cities to warm climate destinations. So we'll see if it changes based on that. And this is why I like the Copilot Chat, to have it right there, because you're doing this research before you're jumping into your presentation. So let's see. Okay, yeah, kind of switched it up. I see now Charleston's in there, San Diego. And if you're curious where, their Copilot's giving you this list, if you scroll down, you do see sources here. And if you click on that, it should give you the citations of, the websites it's pulling that information from. So I'm feeling pretty good about this list. And what I'll do now is I'm actually going to copy the response, because I want to jump over to build a presentation for this PowerPoint party. Have you ever been to one, Ellen? They're really, they're kind of fun when it's like a really random, obscure topic. Have you ever been to one?
I haven't been to enough, Lisa. This is like, if you're having appetizers, you learn about kitchen knives, you learn about like hot takes on Christopher Nolan movies, and then you just, in one sitting, it's not to be missed.
Exactly. So I encourage you all to find a reason to have a PowerPoint party, but let's build this one to start. So I'm coming back over to that sparkle icon, and I'm going to click create a new presentation. And this is where it's going to pull up create a presentation with Copilot, what we call the narrative builder. And here is where you can describe whatever presentation you want to build. We do have some prompts below, to give you, if you kind of are stuck and need some, ways to help generate those ideas. But I have my response, so I'm going to paste in that full response we got from Copilot Chat. And so now it's going to create a presentation about those top 5 warm, budget-friendly destinations. So let's click enter.
So while it's doing that, could you also have put your prompts directly into this screen versus starting in the chat?
Yeah, great point, Ellen.
With, create a presentation on, and then you could have just asked it.
Yes, you very much could have just started right there and dropped in that same prompt of give me like the top 5 budget-friendly cities. And it would have built a presentation based on that initial list it gave me. But with the chat, I can kind of riff more. And I think that's the benefit of the chat. So here you can see there's, it builds that outline for you. It gives you a preview of kind of what that slide structure will be. If you want, you can actually click on this and move these topics, kind of switch the order, which is cool. But in general, this is looking pretty good to me. So I'm going to hit generate slides.
So this is now 20 slides.
Yes, it is working in real time. You see it. It's telling you what it's doing. It's adding content for each slide. It's kind of building that same outline that it kind of gave you the preview of. And so I like what it's kind of building. We'll see it's applying at a design there. And it's almost done compared to I'd say the normal time it would have taken me to do this. And so you can see now it actually kind of publishes the presentation. And it gives you an option. If you like what you see, you could click keep it here. And so now you can double click in. And this is where you can now go really slide by slide to look at the details and the visuals it's added in. And one of my favorite features in PowerPoint is design suggestions on the right here. So this is kind of your personal graphic designer on the side. It's actually giving you different options for each slide layout. So I kind of like having the picture on the right. So you just click it and it automatically updates, which is pretty cool. But if I go to the second slide, I'm not totally loving this image. I think we can make something a little more fun here. So this is where I want to show you how you can actually generate images using Copilot chat. So coming over here, I'm going to click the Copilot icon and bring back my chat. And I'm going to say, I'll put in a prompt, something like create an image of a tropical warm city in the summer with girls laughing at an outdoor cafe. And so I will say the more details you put in that prompt when you're, asking it to create an image, the better. It really pushes the model to be, more towards any realism or the vision you have in your mind. And you can see it's working to generate it in real time and uses the latest image generation model from OpenAI. So, sometimes you do have to be patient as it's working and loading, but you can see it's starting to pull together an image for me.
So what about if you want the image to be circular, or this one is kind of a wide image, or if you want it to be like a different shape? Are those things you can ask it to do while it's creating?
Yeah, I'd say I'd recommend you can kind of do it in that first prompt, give it more details of like the size of the image you want. Maybe it's a wide image, maybe it's a 16:9 aspect ratio. So you can do it in that first prompt, or when you see the output, you can come back and kind of ask it to update it and make some refinements. But yes, you can give it those details, which is awesome. Okay, I like this. So look, now I can click this little plus button and it will automatically insert that image into my deck. And I'm just gonna kind of maybe move it around. And I think what will pop up here is, design suggestions can come back for you and help kind of give you options to adjust, based on that new image, which is pretty cool. So you can actually, use it that way too. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this presentation. I'd say it's got me about 90% of the way there, and now I can focus on the fun stuff like my PowerPoint party. And that way we can vote on the best place to go visit this year. And the good news is it will save automatically to that recent presentation section. So if you want to come back to it, it's always saved there for you.
Great. This is really helpful. I can totally see how you can use this for both your personal and your work scenarios to create a new presentation. We have been getting more asks to demonstrate how to do that and bring AI to your work. So this is awesome. I believe you also are going to show us a way that we can do this more in the work, sort of deeper into the work scenario, correct?
Yes. Now I want to switch gears a bit and focus more of, in that work mode. So a common example we all know well is prepping for an upcoming meeting and, building a presentation deck for that. So a lot of times we'll have like existing documents or files, meeting notes. And for me, I'm actually kind of working to finalize a business plan I have. I'm planning to open this coffee shop in a fun Seattle neighborhood, and I plan to launch it and open this summer. So I want to build a presentation based on my business plan here. Because I have a bunch of like supplier meetings and agency meetings that I need just really a presentation to kind of give an overview. So I'm actually going to just copy everything there. Excuse my dog. Do you hear that, Ellen?
I just
I
heard a
hope
click. Maybe that
you
was
don't
it.
hear a dog. Great. Even better. So we're going to come back to that PowerPoint.cloud.microsoft webpage. And so here, I think I actually want to use one of these templates. I just want to show up and feel really, professional for it. And just let's see if they have anything that kind of matches my, brand look and feel for this coffee shop. And it is called Bloom and Brew. So I actually really like this one. So we're going to click here. And you see it opens. And so now I'm going to come back to our sparkle icon and click that and click create a new presentation again. All right. There. Let's get it coming to show up. Might ask me to sign in. Let's give it a second. Yes. This is the joy. It's live, people. See, bouncing between work and personal accounts. But okay, so here's our narrative builder. And I'm just going to paste in that whole section of my business plan. And it does give you 2,000 character limit, so you can put a ton of details here. And as I said earlier, in the coming months, this functionality to attach the reference files will also be available. So, for now, I just want to show you pasting it in, but it's going to continue to get even more enhanced where you can attach those files. So let's click there. And so here it is. It's working on building that outline. It tells you what it's doing, but you can see I dropped a lot of information in there. And it's kind of just raw text. So let's see how it does, kind of pulling together an outline. Okay.
Oh, I like how it's all broken out there.
Yeah, I love the preview it gives you. It's still working. Let me see the sections. This is looking pretty good. It's almost done. I do see though, one thing I think it needs to add is a next steps and launch timeline slide. So let's add that in. And one thing I'll touch on after kind of this demo is what we call Frontier. You can see below here, this is some of our new preview features. So this is really exciting because it actually gives you kind of a preview and lets you select up front the presentation style you want. You can see I already have that template selected. But it's just one more benefit. But here, now we're going to click generate new presentation and it's going to use that template. So once again, it's telling you what it's doing. It's crafting the narrative and starting to load all that content.
So in the time that you can go get a drink, have a snack, maybe a bite of a snack, and come back, this is already building your presentation for you, which would have taken, I don't know, days, hours.
Yes. No, it's definitely true. So like this is the time where you can see it's loading and we'll see how many slides it brings together. But for me, that probably in the past would have taken me like you said, a few days to build this and slide by slide. So the fact that you can kind of give it the content to work with is really exciting.
Yeah.
So it's getting close. It's working on it. You can see all these slides kind of going into those details. Okay, awesome. So I feel like I need the like big reveal of the, the presentation, but it's gonna load it here in a new tab for me. Hey,
Wow.
yeah, look at that. So I'm gonna click keep it, and I see it has all of my content in there now. It's using the fun template that I selected. So I'm going to double click into it and kind of start. This is, where you can come in and start to review and refine what it's pulled together. And so if you want, you can do, you have your design suggestions. When you click here, that will pop up. So if you once again want to play with different layouts, you can see it will start to load here of, if you want to switch kind of each slide to use a different style. So that's another way to keep refining it. But I will say another very helpful feature is actually on the content. So let's say you are, there's some slides in here that feel maybe a little too text heavy, and you can actually select the content on your slide. Click, you see this little icon here to rewrite. And when you click that, a drop-down shows up and it gives you these options. If you want to just do an auto rewrite on it, maybe you want to condense it, make it smaller, make it sound more professional, turn it into a list. But I'm just going to go with auto rewrite, and you can see it kind of looks at that text and it's going to come back with some recommended updates to your content here. So I like that. I see it's kind of made some of the language a bit more professional. So I'm just going to keep that, which looks great. And the good thing about the rewrite feature, that is also included in our other apps like Word and Outlook. So it's something I've been using across all three of these apps. So another section, I know we have a section around like sales and my forecast for the year, and I actually have it in an Excel document here. So you can see it's just kind of my raw data in here of between the coffee revenue, the events-based revenue, all the way through this whole year. So I want to drop this data into my PowerPoint. So I'm going to just copy this table here. I'm going to come back, and I think this is the right slide to add it. I'm going to get rid of that image. And we don't need this. Get rid of that. And now I'm going to paste in, just like simply paste in the Excel table. And you can see it just kind of drops it in as, kind of a plain table. But once again, on the right is where design suggestions will give you pre-formatted tables that match the template that you've selected. So that one's a big one for me. I'm not the Excel lady.
So ugly.
And so I love that it does that kind of heavy lifting for you just to pre-format any of your like Excel raw data. So that's a pretty exciting one as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So now that it's looking pretty good, I have all the content in there. One thing I want to call out is that Copilot will also give you, when it builds this presentation for you, if you scroll up into the speaker notes, you will see that it's given some speaker notes for you. So it will automatically populate those speaker notes under your slides. Obviously, it's kind of a starting point. You'll have to, you want to go through and just refine or review them. But just a great way to kind of save you some time of having some ready to go speaker notes below on each slide.
That's amazing.
Yes. And then the last thing I want to show for this presentation is you know, actually translating it. I actually have some vendors where I want to do these, seasonal coffee beans in Sweden. I work with a vendor there all the way in Sweden, and I would love to send this presentation to them in Swedish. And so to do that, all you have to do is come back to our sparkle icon there, and you come down and you see translate this presentation. So we're going to click that. And on the right will pop up, a drop down for the language you want to translate it into. So I'll scroll down to Swedish. We'll click translate. And so it's actually going to translate every single slide, and it's going to save a separate copy of the presentation for you. So that way, it's not just replacing this one. You'll get a new presentation. So currently it is translating it for us, Ellen.
That's amazing. Wait, that was really fast.
Yes.
Is that it already?
Here it is. Let's open it up. I will say my Swedish is very limited, so I can't totally do a proofread on it, but there you can see that is very much in Swedish and no longer in English. So the whole deck got updated and translated, which is very cool.
That's like, now I just need to learn Swedish to make sure that this is correct. But I think it's, it looks impressive to me. So you went over a lot of actually really amazing things here. Copilot is really helping you take your information and get you not just an outline, but a full deck that you can go in and iterate with rewrite. Like you said, you move things around, you changed images, and you were able to like add a slide. So just saving you a ton of work, just trying to figure out like your structure and oh, I need to put an agenda slide. Oh, I need to remember the executive summary and next steps and all of that. So it did a lot of heavy lifting for you. And then the fact that you can, customize it in this way and add translated copies and all of that is super cool. I think you have maybe one last thing to show us about what's coming next.
Yeah. No, great call. It's Ellen. I will say, there's more goodness on the way. The team is just working so hard of just bringing out even more exciting features. And one way to do that is what we call, it's called the Frontier Program. It's free to sign up. It's a great way to test features when they're in that preview stage and give feedback to our product teams before they fully roll them out to general availability. And the way you can turn that on, I'm in, once again, the PowerPoint web app here. And if you come up to File, you'll see under Options, there's Copilot Settings. And so this little pop-up will ask, basically preview Frontier features. And so when you click that, you hit OK, and it will refresh your browser to kind of give you the latest there. But one of the, just a quick, if we have time for it, that, narrative builder functionality, that's where we're really trying to enhance that experience. So that way, like up front, you can kind of put as many inputs as you want to build that presentation for you. So that way the final output is just higher quality, and kind of meets your expectations better. So that's where you'll see in that narrative builder, there's going to be more functionality there. Here you can pick like the suggested length. Maybe you just want a short, quick presentation. Maybe you want it long. Maybe you want to start with some of these preset, prompts here. And that's where I'll just quickly do one of these to show you, it still does that outline build that you've
Yeah.
seen that I walked you through. But once it gets down to that, it will give you more of those kind of, what templates, what type of images. It will ask you what kind, do you want more photorealistic? Do you want it more 3D? So once it comes through here, I'll show you those additional features.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So here's a great example of just, in the beginning, giving you those options of kind of this presentation style you want to have. And then down here, the image preference. Maybe you just want it kind of a clean, flat design or more of those photorealistic, but you can give it the guidance up front here. And that's kind of those frontier preview features, but coming soon more broadly.
Great. So thank you, Lisa, for those demonstrations. We're going to take a few questions with our remaining time. Our moderators are doing their best to get through questions in the chat. If you give us a sec, we'll see if there's anything that we should answer live. So we'll get started with, what are some other ways to use image generator for presentations? Can Copilot make your chart or an infographic or other things?
Yeah, good question. No, so it's not just images. You can do things like ask Copilot to create like an infographic. I did one for like a customer journey flow, and you can actually say what you want to include in that kind of the flow and the infographic and the styles. So I'd say that's one great example for either work or, just even, your small business or something. And even like I did like the dropping in raw data into the chat and say, turn this into a bar graph for me. That's another way to just save you the time. So I think we tend to just think images only, but no, you're right. There's also other ways like infographics or, actual data and tables and bar graphs.
And then Frontier. So who actually can access Frontier?
Yes, so the Frontier program, it's open to both individuals with a Microsoft 365 subscription and Microsoft customers who have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. For those customers, it might require the IT admins to opt into certain features, but yes, both for work and individuals in your personal life can test them out.
Can Copilot come up with decks using owned assets like pre-existing images instead of always just using generative images? I think the answer is yes. Especially if you have like an asset library, whether it's your work asset library or maybe in your OneDrive. But for work scenarios, yeah, if you have asset library, like I think when you were showing in your work account, right, we have internally like asset libraries as well. Is that right, Lisa?
Yeah, there's, kind of, I'd say 4 places you can get your images from. Anything you have saved on your device that you want to add to it. PowerPoint does have stock images you can search. It can also search the web, but if you want, and then the 4th one is if you want to create a totally new image yourself, that's where you use Copilot to help you create that one. So various options that you can choose from to add visuals in. And yeah, on the work side, I believe you can update kind of your brand kit or like templates as well. So that way you're using kind of your company approved brand templates. But that's, on the work account side.
Awesome. So I think that brings us to the end of today's session. So thank you, Lisa, for doing demonstrations of PowerPoint for us. We hope everyone has come away with more ways to level up your presentations. Everyone have a great rest of your day or your evening, depending on where you are, and we'll see you next time.